Hello everyone, Rahul Naya here again. We're at the LA Auto Show and we're here with Donato Coco, who is the head of design of Lotus and the designer of all these wonderful cars that we have here today. And right behind him we have the Esprit. So Donato, thanks for taking the time to talk to us, and will you tell us a little more about how you went around the process of deciding what the new Elite or the new Esprit should look like? What's your design process on it? What do you feel about the design of the car?
Yeah, when you face this objective to design the new Esprit, of course you have in mind the first Esprit, which was the James Bond car designed by Giaro, and this car is really the superstar of the range.
Yep.
It is the icon of the range, and of course as being the supercar of Lotus, it had to be very dramatic.
Yep.
But as you probably heard before, we tried on all those new cars to do a big jump, not only in styling, but to give more an aesthetic a little bit dignified in dimension, in treatment, but also boost the practicality. In order you can get in, get out easily to the car. Perfect ergonomy in the relationship. Interior with every switch, everything that you need to drive, and that's the way you have to face this new project. Say it has to be dramatic, but it has to be also very practical, well built, quality, and I think we have done something that seems to have reached this,
the Esprit in particular is a spectacular looking car. So we're talking about more about the new family of designs that you've developed for the Lotus. If we can look here, we can see the front end of all these cars has a very strong family resemblance, which is that what's going to be the design language for Lotus cars going in the future?
Yeah, the design language in itself doesn't mean a lot. What is important is to have, and at least it's what I want to do for Lotus car, is to belong, that each car could belong to a family, but each car could be a singular design, very specific. The car have no reason to look the same. Each car has to be different, and as you mentioned, there are some areas of the car that can help you to make that family, resemblance. And the front end is one of that area. Of course, we have chosen that kind of fuselage, that was inspired, ironically, by a car of the past, which was one of the early version of the Lotus 7, where the fuselage is very well marked, and that do not show necessarily a smiley mouth like the Lotus till now have been developing. That was a sign, two-dimensional, very kind, a little bit inspired by the early Formula 1. And this is an approach not completely new, original, but it is just giving more emotion, more three-dimensionality. Treat the volume, the car as a sculpture. It has to deliver emotion, has to transmit the notion of power and of strength, and also of lightness and elegancy, because a sports car must be elegant.
Okay. So looking back at this car, would you say you have a particular design section that you are particularly proud of?
Oh, this very characteristic line that wrap around the intake for the cooling, and give all the direction to that mass, and the position, the greenhouse very forward on the volume. It's quite characteristic, because it shows how, and this is the case for almost all those designs here around, you have a real combination between the function and the form. And there is nothing free. Each time that you create a line, that you design a line, it has to be standing on a specific function to resolve. And that's about it. Every line has a reason, and the designer has to think before just let his arm going freely also.
So speaking about the fact that we have so many cars here together, and So you've got some of the ideas of what you're going to be doing for the next 5-6 years pretty much down here. How much do you think it would change between now and the model of the Eterna, which is out here right now, and the actual car that will come out in around 2015 or so? Do you see significant changes, or do you think this is basically what you're going to stick with and more detailed stuff?
Yeah, that's very clear. This is all those 5 cars are the blueprint
Okay.
of the new range.
Yep.
And it is an occasion to say we want to do that.
Yep.
We want to go in this segment. This is plus or less what they're supposed to look like.
Yep.
They're supposed to relate with each other. Now, of course, the design is something that you have to deliver very close to the market. You know, for what you see behind, which is the Esprit, this is the first one to appear in the market.
Yep.
It's going to change very small, very little. The second is supposed to be the Elite.
Yep.
But it's going to be also very close to the design you see.
Yep.
Because why? Because we haven't done show car. We have done cars, innovative cars, but that are producible. That are, you know, really mature in terms of convergency, style, and the industrialization. Then they should not change. Now, for the other cars, of course, probably some adaptation will be necessary. Because while you engineer, things change. Also because we need to refresh, you know, going ahead. That's it.
Yep. And one more question would be in terms of, I know that we're moving towards more of a aluminium skin bodies is what you're going to, but I believe I was just talking to Danny, he said that the Elise would most likely stay with composite.
This is what it's planned to do.
Okay. And how different is the Elise going to be in terms of weight and things like that? Do you think it's going to stay similar, close to what the current Elise is like?
Yeah, I mean, we can't give number really.
Yeah, of course, but
today because
I mean, are you going to
we have to work first on it, but
sure.
Lotus has anyway to be coherent with his reputation. And then we will always do the lightest car that you can imagine the industry can deliver. And we have all the know-how in-house, you know, to make it. And we just have to be very careful, and we will be the best in class at this level.
Okay. And one other question is, Lotus in the past at least has had a history of having a lot of special edition cars and things like that, or especially track version cars, because a lot of us owners take our cars to the racetrack and things like that. Do you see that also happening, or is it going to be next 5 years make these 5 cars and then after that look into making these special editions and the smaller tweaked versions, or you're not sure yet?
No, you know, as the new range, it will be introduced progressively. And each version will have several versions. Then now we won't abandon at all what make those cars till now very characteristic. The capacity to be derivated in several versions, you know, to have the track version, etc. Then this will go on. Now we have a range, a current range that has to leave for another 2 years, and we will make a lot of you know, improvement and update, etc. No, there is no change. It will be more than less. More than today.
Perfect. Well, thanks again, Renato, for taking the time to talk to us. We're very glad to hear so much about it.